All right, Mawkzy versus Diaz. About to kick off quarterfinal. We've got AJ Wisty happening on Hootie Who's channel at the same time. We've got Cosmic vs Beast Mode on Fear's channel, Chronic vs Forky on Riz's channel, and First Killer versus Rettles on CJ. Lots of matches for you guys to pick between. That is just the post-game score for the practice lobby, so don't panic. And it looks like we might be waiting on Mawkzy to get here. There he is! So let's get started then. Diaz versus Mawkzy. This is the North American ATR Cup number 3 quarterfinal, and we've got a Frenchman against a Brazilian. They both have a combined 220 ping. Diaz slightly worse on that side when it comes to ping, but he is more used to it, so I'm going to pick Diaz to win this. He's the first place finisher and second place finisher of the previous NA ATR Cups. Mawkzy finished second in the second EU ATR Cup. Was his best result over there. But the fact that Diaz is much more used to playing on this connection has me thinking that he's the favourite for this one. That being said, great pre-jump by Mawkzy as we kick things off. Now, I know all of you love when I talk about this, so I'm going to do it again. Remember to sign up to ATR Cup number 4. The sign-up's just open for North America. They've been open for a day for Europe. The open quals are on Sunday night for Europe, Monday night for North America for ATR Cups every week. So be sure to sign up for free so that we can maybe break our record. We had 465 people sign up for ATR Cup 3. This is what we're watching right now. We're going for 500 for next week. But exactly the start that Mawkzy would have wanted. He's managed to challenge a Diaz aerial play early. Well, I guess he'd rather be 2-0 up, but he's managed to challenge a Diaz aerial play successfully, and he's also managed to slam a flick on target right there. This is looking like his game so far. Diaz, 100 boost to his name though. Enough to strike fear into the heart of any opponent. Honestly, Diaz on about 20 boost is probably enough to strike fear into the heart of any opponent. Decent speed there by Mawkzy. Does get beaten out by Diaz in the follow through. Mawkzy thought he had time to run to mid to get boost. Actually cut the corner a bit too much there. Missed it. Looking to slow the play down at the near post to compensate his low boost situation he's ended up in. Does well there. Mawkzy to even out the position. Diaz actually hiding underneath Mawkzy, trying to surprise him with his challenging angle. And now Diaz clean through on goal. Successful challenge. 2-2. Mawkzy got caught out by Diaz, running up the wall, and could not retreat in time to make the save. Now, taking a quick look at how your guys' predictions went for this match, looks like Diaz 56% of the beans, Mawkzy 44% of the beans going in his favor. So a very close one. You guys are overall as a collective predicting a Diaz 3-2 win, I would say. Oh, this is beautiful control by Mawkzy. He's got the ball glued to his car. Diaz quick enough back to stop him though. It's a really good thing to practice what Mawkzy just showed us there. It's something that you could all try and free play, trying to steer the ball in a circle at supersonic speed without having to wiggle left and right. You know, trying to get the tightest turn possible at max speed. Oh, what challenge. Diaz has completely crushed Mawkzy there. And the open net will put him 3-2 ahead. It's all been about challenges so far in this match. Mawkzy went 2-0 up with an early challenge. Now Diaz has roared back to a 3-2 lead with predominantly challenges and interceptions. It's not the higher seed gets to choose which color they play as. That's how it works. And the majority of players in these tournaments do want to play as blue. So that's why the higher seed tends to end up being on the blue team, is because the players are all choosing it. Well, Mawkzy scoring with a flick. What's new? Diaz, a little fake challenge, did not accomplish its intended goal. Actually, Mawkzy not really flicking that one. I shouldn't say that. Just say popped it. More of a pop bump that didn't even need to land. Yeah, it's an interesting thing that they all choose blue. I've talked about it on my stream before. I think it's just because blue is a nicer color to look at for long periods of time. It's a little bit less, I guess, glaring, the color scheme. I do also wonder if it's got anything to do with which color your opponents are, because I do think that the orange team cars, they stick out a little bit more on most maps. So they might be easier to see. Maybe it's just subconsciously easier to play as blue. Easier to see the opponents. It's a great shot by Diaz. He absolutely perfected that one. Oh my goodness. He's hit that back so quickly. Mawkzy had no chance. Yeah, a couple players do still pick orange team. AJ picked it today. We've got a lot of orange favors, but players favor orange, but most pick blue. I also think it's because a lot of the most iconic car designs have been blue over the years, so players just want to play their blue presets so they can play, especially in the Fennec era. A lot of the famous Fennecs are blue, so everybody wants to play the blue Fennecs. Competitive game won, but mostly Diaz controlled after early success from Mawkzy. Mawkzy just taking a little bit of power off that wall shot so that he could recover faster. Now he's all over Diaz as a result. Diaz flopping all over the place here. Can't get contact to the ball. Mawkzy with a tidy goal to come back within one. Very difficult position for Diaz there. Had to play the ball early in case Mawkzy jumped at the rebound. Oh, Mawkzy's messed up his wave dash. Diaz looks like he might have had the ball anyway. Off the wall he goes. This is a tough challenge, but Mawkzy makes it. Oh, what an outplay as well. Diaz wanted to sneak in an early contest on the play. Mawkzy saw it coming, and it's 6-all. This is a brilliant match. Both players playing on the away server, making it an even contest. It's all been NA versus Sam and EU versus me now for the one scene in this off-season. Now we're getting a little bit of EU versus Sam, and Mawkzy is not happy with how the middle of the game is going. He's going to be much happier with how the end of the game is going. Successful flick in Diaz. Early challenge. That's a great recovery by Mawkzy as well. Diaz running out of boost. Can he get back in time? Yes, he can. Just leaves the nose of his car up in the air a bit longer there than Mawkzy expected. Deflected the ball to the back corner. Mitchell Deere, thanks for 39-month tier 1. Welcome back to the channel. Into the air goes Mawkzy. No need to double tap that one. It's wide open for 8-6. Diaz overcommits on a fairly easy save that Mawkzy had lined up. And this swingy game continues to swing back and forth. Diaz is not done though. 1 goal difference once again. Huge kickoff win there by Diaz. Slamming the ball top bins with 31 seconds left. He trails by a goal. Goes for the same strategy. Wanted the big win on the inside. Mawkzy counters him, but he's missed his own kickoff goal. It's bounced back to middle though, and Mawkzy won't make the same miss twice. Well, that was nearly a disaster for Mawkzy. If that bounced up the wall and missed the crossbar, Diaz would have had possession. He would have had 100 boost as well. Luckily for Mawkzy, it clipped the underside of the bar and came into the middle. And that should be enough to secure the game for him. Nice recovery after the kickoff. Good vision as well. Spying Diaz, waiting down on the ground. It looks like it will be game 1 to the Frenchman. Oh, that's a great shot. Solid attempt at a 10th goal. Mawkzy still wants it. He's not happy with 9. Will he keep this up in the air? Yes, he will. Starts his run up from deep. Will he get a 10th goal? Yes, he will. Mawkzy with the mind game. 10-7. Double figures. Diaz, after realizing Mawkzy was going for 10, did try to stop him. That's a little mental victory there for Mawkzy to add to the actual game victory as we go into the next one. Fortnite Sating, thanks to 34-month, actually 43-month tier 1. Sorry, I missed that one as we were getting started with this match. It's an impressive game 1 there for Mawkzy. Very impressive stuff. A distinct lack of aerial plays from Diaz, which has to be attributed to Mawkzy's aggression. Diaz does make the most of opposition who let him retreat with full boost and possession and give him space to turn. Mawkzy never one to give his opponent space. That's a fantastic save from Diaz. almost maximum power there on the flick from Mawkzy. Early challenge. Caught Diaz off guard initially, but he is able to turn and take the ball. Mawkzy again able to challenge early in the midfield. No uncontested aerial plays from Diaz. Not heavy enough touch towards the ceiling there for Mawkzy, but he will be able to adapt into the boost steal. And look at Diaz again, looking to set up an aerial play. Settles for the flick though, and he won't have to settle too much because it's gone in. Mawkzy was advancing into no man's land. Probably did not expect Diaz to be flicking here. Indeed, Mawkzy was turning to challenge. Expected Diaz to air dribble from the ground there. Diaz with a good mix-up takes the game, or takes the first goal of the game, not the first game of the goal. Solid defense from Diaz. Looks like Mawkzy can't catch up to this long shot either. 2-0 Diaz. Second game of the goal there for the Brazilian. Tough position for Diaz. Mawkzy looking for the bump. Diaz delays his clear as long as possible. Mawkzy actually lost a lot of momentum there. That's going to cause Diaz to escape his demo. The boost steal now connects for Mawkzy. Half flip. Awkward touch there for Diaz to deal with, but he takes his time. Mawkzy again able to challenge so early on Diaz play. And as we look at Diaz POV, Mawkzy is just right there in front of him, not respecting his flick, not respecting his ability to put the ball high and awkwardly overhead. It does seem to be a difference between Mawkzy and almost anybody that he plays against. Flick game always seems to go the way of the Frenchman. Mawkzy maybe missing an opportunity to challenge there. But he does come away with the ball anyway, and Diaz absolutely annihilates him on that challenge. Well, Mawkzy's flick's obviously the scarier of the two, but he didn't pull the trigger anywhere near fast enough to get past Diaz early turn and shell. Chance to run it back. Mawkzy opts for the bump this time. The ball's way over the bar though. Pre-flip will send it safely to the back corner, but that was an extremely high, too high shot there by Mawkzy. Notice that every time he pops the ball like that, where he sort of flicks it, he's boosting through the flick. Oh, a little pre-flipped out play Diaz. Mawkzy back within a goal. It's a play that Mawkzy goes for a lot though, the kind of mini flick into follow through bump. He actually did that to Skippy in the previous round in order to come back and win Game 3, sweeping Skippy in the opening round of the tournament. Diaz full pitch air dribble reset. Mawkzy gets a touch on it. That's a fantastic save. Especially on this connection, to predict where Diaz was headed is extremely impressive. Now the mind game from Mawkzy. Diaz worried about the flick that never came. Momentum strongly in favor of the Frenchman. Diaz challenging air on that last play. Wave dash recovery kickoff is good for Mawkzy. He's got options here. Lining up that top left flick. And of course, you know where the ball's headed. Just the smallest of angles is all he needs. Just that little turn to the right is all that he requires to launch the ball top bins. Diaz could be in trouble. Chance to redeem himself here. Excellent small pad pathing though by Mawkzy as he retreats back to goal. Puts himself in a comfortable position. Diaz wanting to turn early. Does not want to back down. Give Mawkzy the ball. And he's rewarded for his efforts with an equalizer. Perfect play there by Diaz. If he backed down again, you know what would have happened. Mawkzy would just go back to the same flick. And Diaz would have struggled to save it given the boost situation he was in. Mawkzy wants to take this to the far back corner. Reason for that is he doesn't want Diaz to have an easy demo after grabbing mid boost. It's much harder for Diaz to influence the play. Just shows Mawkzy's brilliant awareness of how to path in 1v1 into safe positions. A lot of players would have just gone immediately to the back corner closest to them there. Mawkzy knows that's not the play. But Diaz in his comfort zone here. Flip reset over the top of Mawkzy. You know that most of these are going to go in. There's just no way you're getting anywhere near him when he gets this shot to land early enough in the play. Solid effort by Mawkzy to come back within a goal. Actually does tie it here with the rebound. I think Diaz could have done a better job saving this if he was a bit more patient with that. But he kind of rushed it, hit it early into the crossbar, and that resulted in an easier save than or an easier follow-up, I think, than Diaz was intending. Wave dash recovery kickoff on point for Mawkzy here. Diaz really should be throwing in a delayed kickoff at some point, or a drive kickoff just to mess with Mawkzy's timing. As things stand, Mawkzy has the small advantage, possession and boost. Ceiling play for Mawkzy. That's a great recovery, but he's not got the landing he wanted. Doesn't get the demo he wanted either. Diaz, chance to shoot on target, hits the bar. Mawkzy threatening a counter-attack down the middle. This is tough for Diaz. He has to go for the ball, but in doing so, he leaves himself wide open for the demo. Mawkzy just messing with Diaz's recovery here. Yeah, it looks like he tried to go for the bump instead, and there was just no catching Mawkzy, who was getting away from him with the boost advantage. 1 goal to the good for Mawkzy. 1 minute left for Diaz to work with. Wave dash bump for Mawkzy after the kickoff, though. Will put him in another strong position. Diaz has to back down. Mawkzy with a reset. First touch takes him far away from the goal, though. And now here comes Diaz. Great setup. Oh, what a finish! This is all in the first touch, but the finish is perfect as well. Exquisite shooting. Exquisite shot selection from an excellent player. 6-6. The air roll completely confused Mawkzy. He thought the shot was going to the other corner of the goal. Diaz again with the deft touch to set himself up here. Can he take a 1 goal advantage? Air dribble says yes. Mawkzy starting to struggle to defend against Diaz's offensive onslaught. No reset this time. That's what Mawkzy was expecting. It's a heavy touch top bins. TZane815. Thanks for the tier 1. Welcome to the channel. Mawkzy with a possession. A good one as well. He can switch sides here, open up an angle for himself. And that is all he needed. Diaz saw the angle that Mawkzy was coming at him with. Knew that if he went to goal, it was going to be almost impossible to defend a shot from that kind of approach. But in closing the gap, he put himself in view, and Mawkzy was able to outplay him. This looks like a Mawkzy kickoff loss, but I think he's actually going to come away with a possession here. It looked dangerous, but he had control that entire time. Final few seconds of the game. Mawkzy with a heavy hit over the bar. He might be thinking about tripping Diaz in the back corner. Did go for it. Diaz puts it over Mawkzy's head. I think now Mawkzy's just going to settle for overtime. And that is exactly what we're going to get. Game 2 OT. Mawkzy wins the kickoff. Doesn't need the bump because the shot's wide open. He hits the post though. And Diaz will score. Oh, what a throw by Mawkzy. He had options here. He could have just simply bumped Diaz away from the play and had an even easier shot. The shot honestly was easy to begin with for a player of his caliber. And he's missed it badly as well. That didn't even hit the inside of the post. That hit the flat part of the post, bounced middle for a counter-attack. And it's 1-1. Well, Diaz will feel like he's got away with murder there, because 2-0 down against Mawkzy would have been a terrible position. Instead, we're tied. I mean, what a goal swing that is. A 2-goal miss. A 2-game miss, you could call it, I guess, by Mawkzy at the end of game 1. End of game 2, sorry. That is actually ridiculous. I've got to shout out all of you guys lives signing up, and anyone on YouTube as well. I know we've been talking about Saltmine Quals a lot on YouTube videos, but we've hit 915 attendees. Road to 1,000 attendees is well underway. Can we get another 85 signups in the next 20 hours and hit 1,000 signups for Saltmine 4 Qualifier 1? That's way more than I thought we were going to get, so thank you all so much for signing up. I'm glad that you're all signing up, and definitely going to check in and play the tournament. But yeah, if you're watching this on video, you've probably missed the Qual 1 sign up. All good though. Qual 2 sign-ups, Qual 3, Qual 4, they're all open, so you can sign up for all of them right now using the link in the description. If you're watching live, sign up for Qual 1. It's on Thursday. You might be able to play against Daniel, who's signed up for North American Salt Mine. You might be able to play against apparently Jack, who's signed up for European Salt Mine. Or you might just be able to, you know, win a couple rounds against other players from Twitch chat and YouTube comments. See how far you can go. If you make top 16, you make the money. $150 for top 16. So it's not actually, you know, for a lot of you bubble players, a lot of you SSLs who are listening, if you get the right bracket, not out the realms of the possibility. Well, after stealing game 2, or rather I think from Mawkzy's POV, after throwing game 2, things have gone from bad to worse in game 3. Diaz already up by 2. Looking to make it 3 and looking very good, if I might add, because that is looking, oh, it's just perfect. It's just perfect again. You can just get a feel on some of Diaz's approaches, how confident he's feeling. And yeah, with that much of the goal to aim at, he's just picking his spot at that point. You have to be top 100 to make it. I mean, any rank can sign up, but I'll be honest, I think the top 16 players who make the money will all be SSLs. Because the tournaments are seeded according to ranked MMR. So there will be quite a few SSLs in every single pool of players. Who knows though, maybe they'll all forget to check in and you Platinums, you Diamonds, you Champs can sneakily win your way through into the money matches without ever having to beat anyone. Truth be told, that happens every single tournament I run. Somebody makes like quarter-final without playing anyone. They just check into all their matches, all their opponents fail to check in, and they're like, nice, I'm top 8. Screenshot, send it to all my friends. Yeah, this has gone really badly so far for Mawkzy. Diaz, well, he clearly doesn't feel like he's scammed game 2. It's an interesting position. You know, when you do scam the match there by your opponent missing an easy opportunity, there's 2 ways you can think about it. Either you could tilt it yourself for, you know, you could feel like, well, realistically I lost that game. Or you can say to yourself, you know what, I deserve that. I deserve it. That was the kickoff gods. The karma from the kickoff gods coming back around. Mawkzy won too many kickoffs, and therefore, when he hits one off the post, an open net off the post, that's karma for winning too many kickoffs. Just beautiful control from Diaz. Just dancing with the ceiling on his approach and then scoring with what we might as well at this point call his signature shot. The full pitch air dribble off his own back wall, reset into the goal. Genuinely looks like he's playing with 200 boost. I'm telling you, try to do that in free play, see how far you can get. It doesn't make sense how he can get this far every time. I swear he's using a different type of boost than me. When I play Rocket League, my boost doesn't last that long. My boost runs out. I think he's got like the premium boost from the petrol station. And we're all playing with a diluted boost. Mawkzy sticking in the game though. Still a long way to go. Down by 6, but more importantly from his POV, he's got more than half the game to work with. And whenever you got more than half the game to work with in Rocket League, all you got to tell yourself is, hey, if the opponents have managed to go up by 6 in half the game, then I've just got to win the second half of the game by 6. And then we can talk about overtime when we get there. But now we're into 2 minutes left territory and it's only getting worse. And yeah, that doesn't work anymore. That logic doesn't work anymore. Sorry. It's probably GG for this game. Truly a crushing game 2 loss there for Mawkzy. Knowing that he had it in the bag with an open net after the kickoff and he beamed it horribly. Yeah, hard not to be tilted after that one. This is an understandable game 3. I think he might just be playing it out to try and give himself more chance to calm down, distance himself even further from the open net miss which put him in this position in the first place. Actually, hold on, if you get another goal then the win actually looks on again. The win is on, honestly. 5 goals in a minute 52 is doable. You know, if he can keep up this rapid creation of shots, this is doable. He's playing for the win. He's not playing for the anti-tilt. He's playing for the win here. Diaz wasting a bit of time with an overhead touch. Actually going to continue to play the ball here. Oh, that's going to tilt Mawkzy. Mawkzy thought Diaz was going to back down. He was looking to control this one. You can see him just going around the ball, waiting for Diaz to retreat. Diaz just continues chasing, and he's ahead by 6 again. Who's my favorite player of all time in 1v1? I've had different favorite players over the years to cast, but in the early days, I think my favorite player to cast, and pretty much everybody's favorite player to watch in 1v1, was Mawkzy. He just played so differently from everyone else, and every single series he played was an absolute banger. And then, yeah, Devo burst onto the scene. He was really fun to cast as well. I loved casting Devo games. Just going to go through 1v1 history real quick if you guys don't mind. Think about who my favorite players to cast were. Yeah, then the dominant players were Scrub and Fairy. They were obviously really fun to cast, but they were almost too good. Eventually you want to see them lose. I love the streaks, but they were just too good. So it was almost like they were never my favorite to cast, because I knew they were just going to obliterate. It was really difficult to find matches for Fairy Peak. When he was on the 1.5 year undefeated streak, genuinely it was difficult to find players who were good enough to take a game off of him. Which is, when he's just 3-0ing everyone, I was like, man, this is this guy's kind of good. Yeah, I appreciated it, but I wouldn't say that made it the most fun games to cast, because they were too dominant. Casters are always biased for close games. We always want close games. But yeah, I think Khaled was really fun. He had some really close games. Khaled was probably my favorite player to cast for a while, because he had such a unique style at the time as well, very recognizable style. So I think he was probably after the initial guys like Mawkzy and Devo, Khaled was probably the next guy that I would just, every match that you threw at him, it would be a banger. Every single, it didn't matter who he played, it was just an insane match. And then past that, there were just so many players. That's when 1v1 really started to blow up in popularity. So there were just so many players who were just insane to watch, and just the list started to grow of players you could guarantee are going to put a good match up every single time you put them on the pitch. Yeah, loved casting matches from Yan whenever he was dipping his toes in ones. I think a lot of that is due to the fact that he wasn't a ones guy, except sometimes. So Yan XNZ, always fun to cast. Zen, obviously, always really fun to cast, because he's got just perfect mechanics, essentially. And yeah, Rawas, obviously, for the defense. I mean, these are all players that when you watch them play, you feel like you're going to see something new. Like Rawas, you're going to see a new way to save a shot that you've never seen before, which is really exciting to watch. Zen, you're going to see a new way to score, which you've never seen before. So yeah, those are more recently the players that everybody, whenever they're playing, it's not just me. I feel like I'm quite boring with my opinions of who's fun to cast, because I just like it's always the same as who you guys like watching, But yeah, in this tournament, the ATR Cup, Diaz would be my #1 most, I think, favorite player to cast in the ATR Cup for North America. Because again, I get that feeling I'm going to see a new goal I've never seen before. And also, I could watch him air dribble off his own backboard all day. I just can't get enough of watching his control and his efficiency. And when it comes to Europe, I think over in Europe, not just because he's in chat right now, I've really been enjoying casting apparently Jack games. I think Jack's found a resurging love for 1v1, it looks like, based on the way that he's playing and the results that he's getting. And yeah, I've been enjoying watching that. That's why yesterday, when I chose my matches in the bracket, I just picked the Jack path to the final. I was like, I'll watch Jack's round 1, Jack's projected quarter-final. I'll watch his semi-final if he makes it, and the grand final if he makes it as well. Thank you very much. But yeah, right now we're spoiled. We're absolutely spoiled in 1v1 with so many insane players. From Salt Mine 3 till now, the field has just been like extraordinarily talented for 1v1. It's been crazy to watch. So yeah, we're blessed. The one scene is blessed. I feel like for a while, like maybe 2016-17, we had to go through 1v1 purgatory, where every single NA 1v1 show match was 2 players taking turns flicking and shadowing, and EU show matches were just Fairy Peak winning 3-0 against someone. We went through 1v1 purgatory for a while. Those were legendary times all the same, by the way. I loved it. But after we got out of that meta into the meta we've got now, it's insane. I feel like a lot of people who heavy judged 1v1 back then have realized now, after watching it for the first time in years, they're like, wait a minute, what's going on? This is insane. I thought 1v1 is just about 50-50s and flicks and demos. It still is a lot about that, but there's also everything else as well. Yeah, 12 Titans was peak, obviously. Obviously, there were still insane matches back in those 2016-17 metas, but it was a much more play-safe meta because players weren't good enough mechanically yet to go for crazy aerial plays every single time they attack. But that's no longer the case. Diaz is essentially freestyling in his matches. And it looks like he might be too much for Mawkzy today. That one miss in Game 2 is going to haunt Mawkzy for a long time, I feel. Although knowing him, I think it's just going to get him to grind even more in preparation for the RLCS 1v1 next season. And indeed the future ATR Cups and Salt Mine Quals. I should probably make one thing public. I know I've mentioned this before, but I should say it more often so that people aren't surprised when it inevitably happens. Salt Mine Quals, since there are 4 qualifiers, let's just say Mawkzy qualifies for EU in Qualifier 1. Let's say he qualifies for Salt Mine EU main event in Qualifier 1. That means that in Qualifier 2, 3, and 4, he would be allowed to play NA quals. Both of the main events for Salt Mine are on different weekends this year, meaning that players can try to qualify for both, and I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. I wouldn't be surprised if someone qualifies for both NA and EU Salt Mine main events. This could be the first year where we have somebody going for the double. They'll have to play on the away server, obviously, unless they fly over to the different continent physically. I'm looking forward to that aspect as well. I think we're going to have some interesting qualifier attempts. Oh, good beat by Diaz. That's just unreal. He hit the shot too well. He hit the bar, but that turn was fantastic. SA and MENA don't have their own qualifiers. They just play in EU and NA. Well, that's their main region. In 1v1, SAM and NA kind of combine, and EU and MENA kind of combine. That's how the two scenes have developed over the years. They've just kind of, SAM's latched onto NA and MENA's taken over EU. And now SAM's, taken over NA in some ways, thanks to Diaz. Let's see, can Mawkzy mount a comeback? He's down 2 here. A much better situation than he had last game, where it just went completely out the window very early. But Diaz has him in an extremely rough spot here. That's good small boost pathing again by Mawkzy. They're just grabbing an extra small pad at the edge of the box. Allows him to stick to this ball a little bit longer. And now Diaz coming off the ceiling. And it's a perfect shot. Mawkzy has no chance. 3 goals to Diaz. He's looking to send Mawkzy out with 3 straight losses when it comes to games. Mawkzy ceiling challenge completely dusted by Diaz's ceiling shot. Mawkzy slowed down a little bit here, hoping that Diaz would see him coming and try to slow play. But Diaz has made the right read. He saw the open net, slapped the ball in. Now it's 7-3. Diaz has turned the kickoff game around completely. Oh, well played by Mawkzy though. Little wobble on the landing, gets the wave dash to accelerate past Diaz. Diaz lackadaisically unexpected in the back corner there. Didn't think Mawkzy was going to be able to overtake him. Still winnable for Mawkzy. He's a player who can generate some insane comebacks on his day. But this one's level that we're seeing from Diaz right now, this kickoff level we're seeing from Diaz, is going to be tough to beat. 8-4, 90 seconds left. Mawkzy on the ropes. just hanging on right now. It's a great challenge by Mawkzy. Quick check to see where Diaz was. Oh, he missed the boost on the turn though. That's devastating. Went for the immediate dunk, just hoping that Diaz wouldn't expect it, but Diaz did indeed expect it. And another goal for Diaz with the flip reset. He just drills them on target every single time. And yeah, that game 2 is the point that really turned this series around. It was a close series. Game 1 and Game 2 were both extremely close. But Game 3 and 4 have been one-way traffic, and it's been Diaz running the show. Mawkzy still trying, still fighting, but he's missed his overhead here. Has to settle for a ceiling shot. Not a bad contact, but easy, realistically, for Diaz to get the save. Diaz faking a pogo shot there, instead wanted to redirect the ball with a wave dash. Mawkzy has to get goals, and he has to get them now. Oh, he's got one back. Not sure if he intended his flick to go so low, but it's worked out well. I don't see Diaz losing 4 kickoffs in a row here. That's the main problem for Mawkzy right now, is Diaz's kickoff game is elevated in the second half of this series. He's pit maneuvered Mawkzy away from the boost there, and now Mawkzy will probably know that the game is over. And he'll know it's largely due to that Game 2 miss. But whether or not the tilt put him past the point of no return, there's no denying Diaz would have been a tough player to beat, even if Mawkzy did go 2 games ahead. Diaz might be the tournament favorite today. You know, himself and Wavy, they're the 2 tournament favorites, depending who you ask. I'm saying Diaz personally. But GG's, Mawkzy, first foray into the ATR Cup for North America, has him winning 1 round and giving Diaz some good games, but ultimately falling short of the player who's far more familiar to the NA server. Yeah, we'll be left wondering what could have been. If Mawkzy won Game 2, would he have been able to close out the series? Well, guess we'll never know. I'm sure we'll see more matches between these two in the future, though. There's no denying that.